welcome back to my workshop. As you can see, we've been pretty busy over the last day or so trying to get the engine to go in. We've had the 5-inch grinder, we've had the 9-inch grinder, a lot of beers, a lot of swearing. We cut the old World Cup mounts off the cross member, and I've made these brackets here up. So I basically got a piece of cardboard, what I want. I cut 4 out because I did the other side. And then I just tacked them together and then drilled one hole right through the lot, then cleaned them all up. So they're all exactly the same. So then that sits down on here. And you notice that I've got the crush tubes coming already through the chassis. And this chassis has been plated right from behind the sway bar bracket right through. There is a plate, normally goes to about here. So I extended that. And on the left-hand side, I've put a plate right through from the front all the way back to under the floor, and it's only about 1.1 mil or maybe 1.2, but it's puddle welded and the edges are rolled over. If you come back here, see how I've rolled the edge over? That doesn't add much weight, but it stiffens the rail up quite a lot. So a lot of people run chassis mounted engine mounts. The other good thing about the chassis mounted engine mounts is now the engine mounts are out a long way from the engine, so it actually holds the engine a lot better. And the good thing is these engine mounts now are in the center line of the crank, so it should help with harmonics and everything. And anyway, we've been trying to jig it up, but because this is a front wheel drive engine, it's a bit of work trying to make it fit. And I've got to tell you something. I don't really like front wheel drive rally cars. There's only 2 people like front wheel drive rally cars. That's the bloke driving and his mum. Even the navigator, when he's in there, he's thinking, oh, I wish this bloke could get a rear-wheel drive car with some big horsepower so we can go sideways properly. But anyway, this is nearly back to a rear-wheel drive engine. Come around here, I'll show you. Down in here, I just got to cut this lug helped hold the front-wheel drive gearbox. I'm just going to cut that side of the block. It's doing nothing now, and that'll help the airflow through back over the gearbox and everything. So I'm going to cut that off with maybe the grinder and the recipro saw. I'll do that tomorrow. So when I'm fitting an engine in, you're taking everything into consideration. Where's the hoses going? Where's the alternator? With this engine in particular, we've got issues with the dry sump fittings down here with the rack. So that's what I've got to sort out. So I do use this lovely thing here. This is made from Snap-on, make this, but I think you can buy it from somewhere else. So you can just, by doing that, I can just twist the engine. I've got blocks of wood. I've got a jack underneath. I've got the car level, both front and sideways and back and forth. So I can set the engine in at maybe 3 degrees, and then I'll just tack it all in there. And then we'll get the adapter made, and then I'll look the gearbox. That's the next issue. Once it'll just sitting in there, and then if I've got to cut it all off and move it, it's not a big drama. And then once we get it all in spec, then I'll weld her up, and it'll all get painted and all that. But it's still got a bit to go, but it's going to go, and I'm happy with it. I've got the engine down, the crankshaft center line's down maybe another 20 mil. I moved it back a little bit more, so the weight balance is going to be better. And anyway, I just got to keep, it's probably a little bit leaning back at the moment. So I didn't have any clearance under the strut brace before, because the bonnet hits this strut brace. It's got a little bend in it to miss the other engine. So I'm really happy with where the engine, just about to button it up tomorrow. So anyway, keep persevering with the lockdown, and hopefully we can have a beer at the end of this when it's finished. Cheers. I'm a happy